The Legend of the Eight Immortals.
Chapter 24, The Immortals' Lesson and the Mother's Great Sacrifice. Standing in the quiet temple by West Lake, young Ren's mother looked at Li Xuan with deep gratitude, but her heart was still heavy with worry. "Immortal Master," she said softly, "your kindness is as vast as the sea, but there is one thing that weighs on my heart. Niu Jing is the manager of the Zhongshan mansion, a man deeply trusted by the Lord. Even though you have saved us today, I fear he will seek revenge once you are gone. Although my son might not truly be able to protect me, having him by my side makes my heart feel a bit braver." Li Xuan let out a hearty, booming laugh that seemed to shake the very leaves on the trees. "Madam, you can let out 1,000 sighs of relief. That villain Ni has already been thrown into total chaos by your son and me. Mark my words, the Lord of Zhongshan will soon sentence him to death. His stolen wealth will be stripped away and returned to the people he bullied. Even if you do not wish for a single coin of that blood money, I guarantee he will never bother you again. If you don't believe me, ask your son. That is why he was laughing so joyfully just now." The mother turned to young Ren, her voice stern. "Why are you silent now when you should be speaking?" Young Ren bowed quickly. "It is not that I did not wish to speak, but while the immortal master and mother were talking, how could it be my place to interrupt? I was just about to report everything to you." Li Xuan watched them and nodded silently, thinking to himself, for this mother and son to maintain the rights between elder and youth in the midst of such danger is truly rare. He then said with a smile, "Young master, quickly tell your mother what we have done. Once the story is told, we must decide our next move. I wander among the clouds and mists, making my home wherever I go. I cannot stay here for long." Young Ren then recounted the events at the mansion. When he finished, the mother smiled slightly. "The miraculous powers of the immortal are truly beyond compare," she said. "Such greedy and lustful men deserve to be punished. If they were not, there would be no justice and no heaven's will left in this world." "But listen closely, madam," Li Xuan continued. "Life is like a dream, and our meetings and partings are guided by a great design. I dwell in the far north, yet I traveled thousands of miles to arrive here at the exact moment your son needed saving. Do you truly think that is a simple coincidence?" The mother looked thoughtful, her eyes misting over. "From what you say, master," she said quietly, "it seems that this parting with my son is one where we may never meet again?" Hearing this, young Ren suddenly burst into tears. "If it is that the case, I would rather stay and serve my mother for the rest of her life. If I am meant to have a path in the Tao, let it wait until after my mother has lived out her 100 years. I beg the master to forgive me and grant me a few decades of leave." Upon hearing young Ren's words and seeing his deep distress, Madame Yang could not help but let her tears fall in silence. Yet she did not utter a single word, quietly waiting for Li Xuan's instruction. Li Xuan sighed and said, "Madam, your words are a bit too narrow. Life is but a dream. We do not even know our own life and death. So how can there be a fixed rule for the meetings and partings of mothers and sons? Even the three of us meeting here today was not something you could have predicted. Since the meeting was not fixed, how can the parting be certain?" He leaned forward, his eyes calm and deep. "I will give you a promise. Let him come with me now. In 20 years, when his training is complete, he will return to you. At that time, your reunion will not be a fleeting moment in a mortal life. It will be a bond that lasts forever, beyond the reach of age or death. Is that not 1,000 times better than a few years of struggle in the mud of the world?" Madame Yang listened and felt a sudden clarity in her heart. She rose decisively, straightened her robes, and bowed deeply. "Master, she said, her voice now as firm as iron. "Your words are like gold. Your heart is the heart of heaven and earth. I was foolish to let my selfish fears get in the way of my son's future. Yang Ren, from this moment on, you belong to the Tao. If you do not study hard, if you do not follow your master with all your soul, you are no son of mine. Even if you return in 50 years, if you have learned nothing, I will refuse to see you." Deeply moved, Li Xuan accepted Yang Ren as his official disciple. Before leaving, Li Xuan pointed his finger at a common stone, turning it into pure gold, to provide for the mother's needs. Then he drew a circle on the ground with his staff, creating an invisible city wall of protection around her home. Finally, he sketched several fierce spirits on a piece of paper. "If any thieves ever trouble you, hang this on your wall and call my name. These guardians will manifest and drive them away." Li Xuan took Yang Ren north to the majestic Mount Tai. There he found a secluded cavern called the No Limit Cave. He taught the boy the sacred arts of breathing and spirit, commanding him to first master the work of stillness cultivation and essence preservation. To ensure the boy's safety, Li Xuan summoned Madame White Jade from Huashang to serve as the boy's protector and attendant. He gave her a new, humbler name, Yu. He also instructed Fei Fei and Dian Dian, who had already shed their animal husks to become wandering immortals, to visit the mountain every 3 years to test the boy's progress. For 10 years, Yang Ren practiced in the silence of the mountain. While he was not as naturally gifted as Li Xuan, who was born awake, his progress was faster than any ordinary human. Under the watchful eyes of Fei Fei and Dian Dian, Yang Ren slowly began to transform his mortal bones into something divine. While his disciple trained, Li Xuan traveled across the lands, healing the sick and punishing the wicked. One day, as the 20-year mark approached, celestial music began to drift down from the highest clouds. Fragrant petals fell from the sky, and a boy dressed in blue robes descended on the back of a white crane. "The Grandmaster is waiting," the boy said with a smile. "Grandmaster Lao Jun and your fellow brothers are gathered at the 8 Visions Palace. It is time for you to return." Li Xuan bowed in reverence. He followed the boy and ascended, rising high above the world. Inside the palace, sitting upon a glowing lotus seat, was the Grandmaster himself. The ancient sage looked at Li Xuan and smiled. "You have done well in the world of men," the Grandmaster said. "You have settled debts and gathered new followers. But your task is not yet finished. There are still karmic debts to be paid. Your own parents are still drifting in the sea of suffering, waiting for someone to point the way to salvation. If you do not help them now, their dusty lives will only grow more bitter." Li Xuan bowed until his forehead touched the floor. "I shall go at once, Grandmaster." "Go then," the Grandmaster's voice echoed like a bell. "Bring your parents into the light, and then return to me." How will Li Xuan and powerful Immortal go about saving his own mortal parents from the cycle of rebirth? That is a story for the next chapter.